Hey friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Ty, and this is Ty's Table Talk. I'm here to share my thoughts and opinions on the latest episodes of the reality shows we all love to watch. Now, my thoughts are my thoughts, and the reviews I share are from my perspective. But I can guarantee that at least a few of us are thinking the same things while we're watching these shows. If you're here for the first time, welcome to my channel. If you're a return viewer, thank you so much for joining me again. And y'all, I am here with a whole new review for The Real Housewives of Atlanta, Season 16, Episode 17, the finale. I just want to remind you all to please like, share, and subscribe. If you dig this video, go ahead and give me a thumbs up. It's a free and easy way to support this channel and its growth. So with that said, pull up a seat, join me at the table, and let's get into this review. And y'all, we start this episode off with Portia and her sister Lauren. They arrive at Phaedra's home with a bottle of P. Willie's favorite brown liquor from Grenada. Now, this is shortly after the passing of Londi, Portia and Lauren's cousin. Lauren said she had been sober, but when Londi passed, she needed a drink to help her get through this tough time. The ladies are in Fei-Fei's kitchen when we learn that Lauren and Londi were actually on the phone when Londi went into distress and passed away. Y'all, I cannot even imagine. Imagine being on the phone with a loved one when suddenly you hear them go into distress, they're needing help, and you're not physically there to help them. I'm sure Lauren must have felt helpless in that moment. That is very traumatizing to say the least. Just wow. Portia says she was at work when she received the phone call that Londi was in distress, and within a couple of hours, Londi was gone. Portia has been helping to plan Londi's services because Londi's mother and sister, they just don't have the strength to handle it right now, and I completely understand that. Portia says the planning of these services has kept her busy, and it's an all-day thing, and child, don't I know it. When my dad passed, I immediately went into action mode, and yes, making sure all of the family knows, coordinating, picking up family from the airport and the services, and ordering of the casket, and dealing with insurance companies, and all of the arrangements, period. Yeah, it's a lot, and it's very time consuming. In Phaedra's confessional, she says she's also assisting with Londi's homegoing because everybody knows. That's Phaedra's favorite thing to say, honey. Everybody knows she is the chairman of the usher board for heaven. Okay, Fei. Okay, girl. Now, if there's one thing Phaedra is going to do is be a gracious host. So she has food there for P. Willie and Lauren, and the place settings are butterfly themed. Lauren notices and says that she's been seeing butterflies all over the place since Londi's passing, and Londi loved butterflies. So Phaedra says, well, if that's the case, it would be a wonderful idea to do a butterfly release at the service. I thought this was a fantastic idea. Now, we didn't do any kind of release when my dad passed, but every year on his birthday, my mother and I will get balloons, we'll write a message on them for my dad, and release them, kind of symbolizing sending a message to him up in heaven. We know he's seeing all of this from the other side, but also it's kind of therapeutic for us. So anyway, Portia likes the idea of a butterfly release, but ask if the butterflies will come back to the owner. or okay, like what? Phaedra says there are no trained butterflies, P. Willie. What a way to wrap up this scene, right? Portia is going to be Portia till the very end. So in this next scene, Angela meets with their therapist, Dr. Wendy. And in Angela's confessional, she tells us both she and Charles have been seeing Dr. Wendy since 2017. Angela needed some guidance on how to be in a relationship, a marriage with a man of Mr. Oakley's caliber, and all of the things that come with it. His fame, his money, the women who try to get at him, etc. Dr. Wendy has helped with all of that. And today she's telling Dr. Wendy that the properties she's renovating to sell have put a strain on her marriage because they're not selling. Charles has been helping by investing money into them, but he's no longer willing to do that. The prices have been reduced on several of these homes, so at this point, she's willing to let them go to save her marriage. Charles tried to tell Angela that flipping these homes was a bad idea, but she went against his advice and did it anyway. So, throughout this process, she's learned that she needs to listen and trust her husband. She's had trust issues with Charles in the past, which leads Angela to tell Dr. Wendy about the incident at Kelly's event with this Mr. Marcus dude and the accusations of Charles's infidelity. Angela completely trusts Charles, and so now she's ready to fight back and get down to the bottom of who set Charles and Angela up because she will not have anybody coming for her marriage. And I know that is right. In the next scene, we're with Shamia, who is having her first showcase as a solo artist. All of the ladies show up to support except for Portia. Portia couldn't be there because she's still dealing with Londy's passing. Drew Sadora has dubbed herself the resident singer of this friend group. Child, please. So she's there to make sure Shamia's microphone is actually on during her performance. And all I'm going to say is, Drew, go ahead and have several seats. Okay? Now, I don't know how your shows down in the ATL have gone, but baby, the rest of the country has yet to see you perform on any stage other than the Housewives reunion stage. So, child, please. Comedian Miss Pat is the host and MC of this here showcase. So she introduces Shamia and the showcase begins. Now, Shamia comes out looking great, sounding great, and you can tell she was singing along with the backup track, but her mic was on Drewzilla. However, towards the end of the first song, Shamia reached for a high note and could not quite grab it. Her voice was a little crackly, and it just sounded like she needed to warm up a little bit more before going on stage. She did say she was nervous as hell, so I'm thinking that also played a part. In Drew's confessional, she says she personally never had this much trouble hitting a note. And Drew, maybe not on camera or during a showcase of which we've never seen, but girl, stop acting like you are Beyonce or Mariah, okay? Even the greatest of the greats have fallen a little short once or twice, so get the helleth up out of here with those lies. After this first song, Shamia is backstage getting her makeup retouched. And in her confessional, she tells us she hasn't been on a stage singing in over 20 years. So listen, give her a little grace. She was nervous, but after receiving a little pep talk from Mr. Butterlove, RL, she's ready to get back on stage and take us to church, honey. So that's what she did. She starts off playing the piano, and I loved watching her play that piano, even if it was for just like 15 seconds. And she's singing her new single, T-Shirt, and she gets all into it. She gave the people a show, y'all, a production. She had a few costume changes, and even Miss Shia came out on stage. So after the show, the ladies gather backstage and wait for Shamia to come out. Kelly and Britt have been on their best behavior this whole time, keeping it cute, but some subtle shots are being thrown back and forth at each other. And Angela asked the ladies if they'd received their invites to her upcoming gala. For the past 8 years, the Charles Oakley Foundation has been giving back to the community, feeding children in underserved neighborhoods who don't know where their next meal is coming from. And their goal is to feed 100,000 kids. So this gala is to help support the foundation and this cause. Kelly says she wants to help in any way she can, even if it's just to post something on social media. So Drew asked Kelly, how many followers do you have? And Kelly says 150K. Britt says, fake followers? She gained 80,000 followers in one day. So the subtle shots are being thrown again, and Angela says, listen, just ask your followers to donate, okay? Just ask them to donate, period. We don't need all the extras. Shamia finally comes out to greet the ladies and thank them for showing up to support. And the ladies leave, but Britt hangs back a little bit. And Shamia takes the opportunity to have a sidebar with her about the text messages she claimed to have from Shamia in which Shamia was talking ish about Portia. Cynthia actually told Shamia about the get-together she and Portia had at Britt's house last episode and the tea that was spilled about these text messages and conversations about Portia that allegedly took place after Shamia and Portia made up. So Britt says to Shamia, well, you did say things about Portia. And Shamia calls Britt a liar. In Shamia's confessional, she says she has never shown Britt any text messages about Portia or anything having to do with their friendship. In Britt's confessional, she says you can deny, but you cannot lie about those text messages, honey. Shamia says she feels Britt is jealous of her newfound friendship with her former bestie, Kelly. And then Shamia goes a little low, saying, I know why you can't take shots, because you always end up naked. Britt doesn't deny that she likes to show off her body. But then Britt says that instead of running right home back to the A to check on her baby Shiloh after the Grenada trip, Shamia decided to stop off in Miami and take shots with Kelly instead. She accused Shamia of putting on a display in Grenada about being so upset that Shiloh was sick, because if that were the case and if she were that concerned, she wouldn't have been taking any shots in anybody's Miami. Shamia says, do not talk about my daughter, then proceeds to call Britt a lady of the night. Britt brings up past rumors about Shamia's supposed infidelity in her marriage with Gerald as Shamia is walking away from her, which pretty much ended this argument and conversation between Britt and Shamia. But y'all, a few months ago when the season first started, after this Kenya Moore Harris Ball disaster, the blog started saying that Britt spoke ill of Shamia's daughter, but it was never really disclosed what was said. Well, now I guess we know. It wasn't really about Shamia's daughter. It was about Shamia's behavior in relation to what was going on with her daughter while she was in Grenada. But this is a touchy subject, which is why I say anything having to do with anybody's kids, just stay away from it. Just don't say it. Unless you are praising these babies, don't even bring anything up involving them, because it's a very thin line and fine line you're walking when you do that. Now, I don't have any children, but I can definitely understand how a parent would see any mention of their child, directly or indirectly, which is linked to a negative situation or perceived negative situation, as a personal attack on their child. And once that happens, baby, all bets are off. So just leave the kids out of y'all's drama, period. As a rule of thumb, just please do not go there. Before the next full scene, it's morning and we get a few shots of Kelly waking up her precious little twin girls. We see Drew posting some sponsorship content for social media and receiving a phone call from Wreck-It Ralph asking if he can come up from the basement to talk to her about some things, to which she says yes, of course. And then we see Britt and Mike looking at a PJ, a little private plane, honey. But for what? I don't even know. So we go back to Kelly's house for the full scene where she's making breakfast for the babies. And Kelly's sister, Kamaya, pops up and we get an update on the Sandy Springs location for Kelly's restaurant, Nana's Chicken and Waffles. Kelly is pouring a little Kahlua into her coffee while telling us that she's running behind with the grand opening of that location due to all of the things and delays happening with her divorce from Mark. At Drew's house, Wreck-It Ralph has risen up in the basement, honey, and is sitting upstairs playing the piano. The kids are out of town with Drew's mom so that she can focus on getting the divorce and co-parenting situation handled with Ralph. Ralph says he wants to spend more time with the kids, but the courts have ordered that he cannot see them Monday through Friday. Drew says, well, you can ask me for permission, and I never deny you seeing the kids because they need their dad. Drew says she wants to keep everything friendly with Ralph so that she can maintain a positive co-parenting relationship. In the next scene, Fei and her man Chi have a date at a winery, building charcuterie boards, sipping wine, and just enjoying each other's company. They've been dating a little over 4 months, and he's a little younger than Miss Fei, but honey, Fei says she's having fun right now. In Phaedra's confessional, the producers ask if she'd ever consider marriage again to the right man. And she pretty much says no, She just wants to chill and have a good time right now. And I know that is right, Phaedra. Listen, I've never been married, but I do know there is a lot that comes with combining your life, your name, your finances, and your assets with someone. And of course, nobody goes into marriage thinking about divorce, but it does happen. And with that comes a lot of turmoil with having to go back to separating your lives, your name, your finances, and your assets. And that's something I have no desire to do. On top of that, I don't believe a marriage certificate dictates whether or not someone is committed to you and your relationship. You don't need a legal document for that. So, hey, Phaedra, I understand your sentiment, honey. And if you like what you and Mr. Chichi have going on right now, I love it. In the next scene, we're at Britt's house, and she and Mama Britt and Mike are in the kitchen. And Britt's mom has now officially moved in. And on this particular day, Britt is having all of her family over. Her estranged sisters, Cher and Tiara, are coming together again, as well as all of Britt's in laws, Mike's family. Because Britt and Mike got married during COVID, there was no ceremony, so the families haven't really had a chance to meet until now. It seems that all of the issues have been resolved with the sisters and all is good now. So Britt and Mike announced to the families that they are moving forward with planning an official marriage ceremony. And after that, they will be working on making a baby. The family is ecstatic. And you know what? I'm glad Britt's family seems to have healed some from all the past trauma they had surrounding the passing of Britt's father and the insurance company that no longer is around, the insurance company that got dissolved. Listen, if there's one thing I've learned over these last few years is that time with your loved ones is so precious because you never know when the last time will be the last time. And all of the petty arguments and beefs, they just don't matter. Does your family support you? Do they have your best interest at heart? Do they genuinely care? Is the relationship reciprocal? And at the core of the relationship, is there love? If so, then put all of the BS aside. Even though I don't necessarily like the way Britt has handled and presented herself this season on the show, I am glad to see something positive come from her time on The Real Housewives of Atlanta. In the next scene, it's the night of the Oakley Foundation Gala. The fundraising goal is $50,000, and Angela says she wants to meet the goal and wants everybody to have a good time. Now, the backstory to all of this is that 3 days prior to this gala taking place, Angela and Drew met with Mr. Marcus at his restaurant. And if y'all remember, Mr. Marcus is the man that came to Kelly's event with the cheating rumors. And they're meeting with him along with Alex, Marcus's employee. Marcus tells Angela that Charles has been in this restaurant with another woman twice before. And Alex says it happened sometime during the month of June. Angela said that's a lie because Charles was coaching in the Big Three, which was on national television at the time. So Angela says, you need to go ahead and tell me who put you at Kelly's event right now. Tell me who put you up to this. Marcus didn't want to say the name on camera, so he typed it out on his cell phone and showed Angela and Drew. And they looked horrified when they read the name. Before the gala starts, we see Angela on the phone with Drew asking when she's coming. Drew says that they are on the way. Now that they did not go over my head, so I knew Drew would be arriving to this gala with a surprise guest because she says, well, all they just want to do is make sure that we'll have their back. And I told them, don't worry, we got your back. So who do y'all think they is? Well, we're about to find out. So now all of the ladies have arrived. P. Willie is there at the gala and says despite hearing that Shamia has continued to talk about her behind her back, given the passing of Londi, she is not concerned about that petty nonsense at this time. And as long as Shamia's energy is good, her energy will be good as well. So everybody is seated, dinner is served, and Britt tells Cynthia and Portia that Shamia is mad at her now because she found out what Britt told Cynthia and Portia at Britt's house the other day. Portia is like, well, how did Shamia find out? Then she looks at Cynthia and says, now you telling her. And Cynthia says, listen, child, I don't like to be blindsided. So I thought the best thing to do would be to go ahead and tell her and be transparent and let Shamia know what happened and what went down. Before the ladies could really get into that conversation, though, Angela and Charles are introduced on the stage and speak at this gala. Charles thanks everyone for coming out, and he gives a little backstory saying that when he was growing up, his family cooked not just for his family, but for the entire neighborhood to give back. Then Angela introduces the CEO for Meals on Wheels in Atlanta, Charlene Ingram, who comes up and says a little something. Then they introduce the founder of the Purse Foundation, Erica Augustin, on stage. The Purse Foundation helps women who are or have dealt with domestic violence. Then Angela introduces Portia and has her come up on stage. And they honored Londi and her grandfather, Hosea Williams, for all of their charitable work and for giving back to the community. Y'all, I really thought this was so beautiful. To see where Portia and Angela have come from and where they are now is so extremely beautiful. So Portia held it together up on that stage, but when she got off, y'all, she broke down. And all of the ladies go backstage to check on her and make sure she's okay. After the dinner, the ladies take some photos, then they go sit down, converse, and have some drinks. And they actually raised $107,000 at this gala for the Oakley Foundation, y'all. So I love that. They met their goal and surpassed it. Drew sent a text to Angela letting her know that their friend was there and that she got him a drink. So Angela goes to sit with the ladies and starts talking about the ambush she experienced from this Marcus dude at Kelly's event. Angela thought it was suspicious that it happened at Kelly's event. And in Kelly's confessional, she's like, girl, bye. Then Angela turns to Britt and says, well, Britt, I know you and I had some tension, so I wondered if you had sent Marcus. And Britt is like, girl, no, I'm a married woman. I would never. Now, I did catch that Kelly started laughing out loud when Britt said she was a married woman. So Kelly is obviously still feeling some kind of way towards Britt. Like that beef is not dead. So Angela then says, Drew and I met separately with Marcus and got to the bottom of who sent him. Drew ushers in this special guest, Marcus, who was introduced to the rest of the ladies. But then, baby, Mr. Oakley himself, Charles, he swooped in like an eagle, y'all, and was like, nuh-uh, not on my watch. He told Mr. Marcus that he had to go. He said, get your mother bleeping ass up out of here. So Marcus seen Charles and was like, you don't have to tell me twice, okay? Marcus was running up out of there like a water running up out of faucet. He did not want any of what the enforcer had to give him. And the enforcer was on Marcus's ass, making sure he was getting the hell up out of that event. Then Angela starts yelling, no, Marcus, stay right now. Come back here right now. Like Marcus is the lapdog. Charles is like, no, get the hell up out of here. Then Angela starts yelling, no, 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 Charles, trust me, trust me. Charles tells Marcus, listen, dude, listen, you're lucky. That's all I'm going to say. You're lucky. I'm not about this. I'm too old for this. Get me up out of here. So then Charles walks away. Marcus comes back to sit down with the ladies and says someone is not happy with Angela in this friend group. Portia is like, well, tell us who it is. Then he says the name. He says, Phaedra. Not Faye, honey. Not Faye. Marcus says Phaedra is the godfather of Atlanta. She controls Atlanta. And y'all, in my mind, listen, I could visualize Candy and Todd, T.I. and Tiny, even Tyler Perry. I can visualize them all turning their heads like, say what now? Now Faye surpassing all of them to hold the title of the Godfather of Atlanta. This does not even make any sense. Phaedra just got back on this show. Y'all think she's ready to be all back off into some BS again this soon? Child, please. Okay. Marcus says the envelope was dropped off to me the Monday before the event. And Phaedra's like, what envelope? And Marcus is like, the envelope with the information. And Portia says, Faye has been framed, okay? Shamia is sitting there eating her popcorn, watching the show. Now, Faye supposedly has a mutual connection with Marcus, which is how he got involved in all of this to begin with, according to Marcus. So, Inspector Gadget, aka Angela, says, say the name of your mutual connection. Marcus says, his name is Junebug. Da da da. Y'all, who in the hell is Junebug? Who is Junebug and why is his name Junebug in 2025? Y'all, the ladies fall out, okay? Ain't no way you can take this seriously. Ain't no way. Shamia says this is like a Tubi movie that Drew acted in. And is. Pinky and the Brain, aka Drew and Angela, thought they had caught one child. But these ladies are all looking at them like they done lost their damn minds. The ladies laugh at Mr. Marcus and they laugh from right about the room, literally, y'all. They were cackling, and Mr. Marcus says, okay, this is the truth, and y'all don't want to hear the truth, so I'm out of here. And him and his man bag got to marching. Mr. Marcus then had his little screen time, and it didn't go down the way he envisioned, so he bounced. So Phaedra turns to Angela and is like, what beef would I have with you, Angela? And Angela says, you want my ring. You want a marriage, right? Angela, if you don't sit your unshady oak tree ass down somewhere. Faye done been married and she ain't even trying to go back. Are you kidding me? Angela says, in The Godfather, they say you need to be wary of the person who brings you the information. Well, she says Phaedra called her up and gave her the information about Mr. Marcus. Gave her Mr. Marcus's full name and work location. And listen, I'm sure that wasn't hard to find. I'm sure that wasn't that hard to get. You act like Phaedra knew the nuclear codes or something, Angela. So Phaedra says Angela lost her damn mind. After all Phaedra has been through on this show in the past, she would be an idiot to come back just to get in some more BS. Now, she tells Angela, you up here playing Inspector Gadget and you didn't tell nobody your homes are all in foreclosure. So Angela says, well, that's public knowledge, but do your kids even get to see their father? Phaedra says, all the time, any day, all day, baby. Next. Like at this point, Angela, you're just grasping for straws because your little finale tea didn't land the way you and Druzilla envisioned it. Shamia and Kelly are speculating that it was actually Britt that set Angela up. But Portia says she thinks Angela did this all by her lonesome. And I think Portia hit the nail right on the head. But I'm sure all will be revealed at that reunion. I've already seen Mr. Marcus posting some things up on the blogs, pointing to Angela setting the scheme up all by her little lonesome, honey. So, baby, I cannot wait to see it all go down at this reunion. So, at the end of this episode, we get our little summarized updates on the ladies. Kelly's divorce was finalized in September of 2024. Her Sandy Springs Nana's location is set to open this summer. Britt is starting a new insurance agency and is working on releasing her Bare and Naked shapewear line. We also know she will not be at the reunion, and according to the blogs, she finally saw the picture that was displayed at Kenya's event, and it turns out the girl in the photos was not her. So now she's suing Bravo. More to come on that. Drew's album was released in March of this year and is doing very well. Wreck-It Ralph still lives in the basement, shooting MTV Crib episodes, although he was let up from the basement on Memorial Day, where he and Drew grilled steaks, they sang songs to one another, and Drew called him daddy and praised his skills on the grill. Shamia has a new surrogate, so she can give Gerald the baby boy he so badly wants, and Shiloh is thriving. Shamia's single, Never Had, was released in March of this year, and her new single, T-Shirt, was released last week, or week before last, and the video for T-Shirt came out last week. Phaedra has 11 more jobs, and she and Chi-Chi are still going strong. Angela sold 3 of her homes, but 2 went into foreclosure. She's also gone into the menopause business. and is coming out with a line of fans called Fangie. Fan and Angie. Get it, y'all? Fangie. 5 months later, we see Portia is finally able to film inside of her house after the season has already wrapped up. But Simon was detained by ICE, but recently released from ICE custody and deported back to Africa. The divorce was finalized in June. Portia got 50% equity in the home she shares with Simon, along with $40,000 a month in alimony for the next 15 months. And Simon has to cover all of Portia's legal fees, as well as the mortgage and home expenses for the house for the next 3 years. And she gets to keep her rose. And y'all, that was the end of the episode. The looks for the 3-part reunion have already been revealed, and it looks like the colors are yellow and gold. P. Willie, Fei Fei, and Shamia are serving, honey, and Drew is now officially Big Bird to me, okay? She has been given the title of Big Bird with her feathered out reunion costume. And again, I cannot wait to see what all will be revealed at this reunion. But y'all, that is the end of this review. Comment down below. Let me know what you thought of this finale and what your predictions are for the reunion. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you have not already. And until next time, y'all, stay safe, stay blessed, and don't forget to tell someone you love them today. And make sure you love up on yourselves. Love y'all. Peace.